Hi, I'm Gavin St. Louis with Buyers House Realty. Here's a moment with a broker. I'm a real estate broker here in town, here in Austin and San Antonio, and wanted to provide some information with regards to negotiating an offer. I have a lot of buyers that have a little bit of an idea when it comes to negotiating, but there are several tips and techniques that I think could prove uh, invaluable in purchasing a property and getting several $1,000s off of the property and making sure that you're not overpaying for a property. One thing you need to keep in mind is you need to keep your emotions in check and your eyes on the goal, and hopefully that'll help you pay less than the sales price for the home. First of all, you need to be pre-approved. Sellers look more favorably on buyers who have been pre-approved, have a pre-approval letter when they start looking at properties to make sure that that buyer is in a financial position to be able to afford that particular home. That will push you ahead of all of the other buyers that do not have a pre-approval, as one with the pre-approval basically has gone through several steps in securing financing for purchasing a property. So this to sellers is definitely more favorably looked at than as opposed to someone who is not pre-approved for a loan. Number two, ask questions. Ask your agent for information about the sellers and their position. Perhaps they're in a time crunch. Maybe they need to relocate. Sometimes the listing agent will provide me as the buyer's broker. They'll provide me some information about the seller's situation, whether they're relocating, whether they're want any offer to be submitted. A lot of times that information can help to offer a little bit less than whatever the sales price is at the current time. Also, there's ways that as a buyer's broker I can go into the MLS to see what they owe on the property. This information isn't readily available to buyers online through Trulia or Zillow.com or anything like that. It's provided to us through our MLS service. Another reason why it's always highly recommended that you have a buyer's broker who can help you through some of the negotiating on price. Okay, because if you know the seller situation, it will definitely help you to offer accordingly, especially if the property's been on the market 200 days, especially if the owner owns the property outright. A lot of time that motivation, time, and equity can kind of help a buyer offer and get a better price than normal if they know everything about the situation. So definitely ask questions to your agent. The more signs that the sellers are eager to sell, the lower you're going to offer for the contract price of the home. Number three, work back from the final price to determine your initial offer. Know in advance the most you're willing to pay for a home, and discuss this with your agent or your buyer's broker like myself, as I recommend you having a number. You don't necessarily even have to tell your buyer's broker what that number is if you don't feel or trust that they're looking out for you and your best interest, which shouldn't be the case. But ultimately have a number that you're not willing to go over to pay for that property. It will help you focus on getting the right price for you and your family to purchase that property. You don't want to go too low, as you don't want to offend the sellers who are emotionally invested in the sales price, and you definitely don't want to go too high, as you don't want to own the most expensive house on the block. Work with your agent again to evaluate the seller's motivation and the comparables for the area to arrive at a good initial price to offer for the property. Number four, avoid contingencies. Seller favor offers that leave little chance that you're going to be able to not go through with the deal, like a contingency for you to sell your house first, any contingencies like that. Do keep contingencies for mortgage approval, home inspection, and environmental checks, typical for the area, which in Austin there's the HVAC inspections as well. So you definitely want to have the contingencies that are pretty much in your market area. In Austin and San Antonio, there are some different ones, but for the most part, you want to avoid contingencies when it has to do with financing, in the sense that you have to sell one property in order to purchase another one. The third-party financing, that's something entirely different. You definitely want to keep that contingency, and pretty much most contracts and transactions are going to have the financing contingency in place, so most sellers are aware of that. Number 5, remain unemotional. Buying a home is a business transaction, and treating it that way helps you to save money and keeps you on track as far as negotiating out the entire transaction itself. Consider any movement by the sellers, however slight, a sign of interest, and keep negotiating. Sometimes with sellers, they won't meet you on the price, but they'll meet you in other areas. Maybe they'll pay some closing costs. Maybe they'll pay for additional things. But if you keep the process going, you're more able to get some of the things that you would like to get and make it a win-win for everyone. This is very key to negotiating. If the sellers aren't willing to budge much on the price, if at all, don't be afraid to walk away. They may get nervous when they don't hear from you, but showing your hand too early and a lot of negotiating can really affect the ultimate outcome, which is getting the price that you want, more so than paying the price that they would like for you to pay for the property. Number 6, don't let the competition change your plan. There are a lot of great homes in Austin and San Antonio, and it's a competitive. It can be competitive at times, especially in some of the more sought-after areas like Travis Heights in Austin or Alamo Heights in San Antonio. But you can't waver from your bottom line. Don't shoot over that number that you ultimately set for your final offer price. Again, stick to it. It'll help you at the end of the negotiating to feel like you won, and you're less likely to get buyer's remorse by doing so. This was just a few tips that I find that are very helpful throughout the negotiating process. If you have any questions, you can feel free to give me a call directly at 877-77-BUY75, extension 301, or you can go to us online at buy75.com. Okay. Again, my name is Gavin St. Louis. I'm Buyers House Realty, and this has just been a moment with the broker. I hope you find this information helpful. Again, you can feel free to call me at any time and ask me questions, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Anyway, we'll talk with you later. Have an excellent day. Goodbye.